Welcome to the Cult of Comics podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Brown. Today, I am joined by my usuals who are apparently not feeling good and then also feeling really bad. Josh Craven and Sean Walsh. How you guys doing?
Why is Josh not feeling good?
I don't know. He looks sickly.
I think that's just the lighting.
Just how he looks.
Oh, you
that's
know what? You're right. Anyways, it is Tuesday, September 9th, 2021.
Oh, it's Wednesday for me.
Oh yeah, it's midnight over where you are, huh?
Yeah.
What's it like being in the future?
It sucks. The world's got worse somehow in these mere few hours.
It sounds about right.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We have a bit of comic books news. No, not news. Comic books to actually talk about. Yeah, well, that's what this is. That's what this is all about. You know what? I don't like this. Let's start over. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Cult of Comics. I'm your host, Tyler. That's Sean. That's Josh. And we're the Cult of Comics clan, also known as COC. And if you've never been on the show before, we are a comic book media podcast. We are doing a comic book club episode. We're going to talk about some comic books that we read this week. Sean is experiencing time travel sickness right now, and so he's not feeling too good. And Josh is just getting off of work. He made a lot of time out of his day for us. So this is a very special occasion. Thank you, Josh, for your time. We know your time is precious. And let's get started. What are we going to talk about first?
Comics.
Dark Ages.
Dark Ages #1, Tom Taylor, Ivan Coelho. And this is
a good start.
It's a good start. It's a strong book.
This is very much a setup issue.
It's good. Yeah. It's 30 pages. So it's a little longer than your normal comic. $5 though, not cardstock.
Is it not cardstock?
Not the one that I got.
Oh, the one I got is a pretty thick cover. Maybe you just looked. Yeah, it looks like the regular paper for you. What's the serial number on there? That's how you can tell.
111.
111 or 00111?
00111.
That's weird. Yeah, it should be regular. Mine is a hardcover, I think. Well, regardless, this is definitely not what I expected it to be.
Yeah.
I'm surprised this was just sort of the prologue to the story starting in issue 2, kind of.
Yeah. Well, it gets it all out of the way. I don't know if is every subsequent issue going to be 30 pages, or is it just this one? Just
I hope so.
All out there.
I mean, even if it was, it definitely.
It's showing 28 pages for issue 2.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Issue 1 was 36 pages. It says.
Nice.
So okay. It's gonna be a shorter.
Right out of the bat, I do want to kind of just say that my immediate complaint is that I feel very much. I can very clearly tell that this has that Marvel editorial interference going on for event style things. And while it doesn't necessarily feel like a rushed event right off the bat, it definitely felt like it wanted to jump right in. I feel like when I read Injustice or Deceased, jumping into that, it didn't really feel nearly as rushed. It felt like it still had a lot more pacing to the setup. That might just be me. Maybe there was more pages and they just trimmed it down. Maybe there was placements for word boxes that were just moved around a little bit. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but it definitely feels faster paced than most of the other Tom Taylor books that I've read.
It is fast paced.
I'd agree with that.
They do cover a lot in 30 pages, which is somewhat impressive.
Yeah. Something else that I have noticed with a lot of modern creators these days, this is a big complaint that I have with Bendis, is creations of villainy that are very postmodern in style. It doesn't necessarily feel like traditional superhero villainy. This one, I will say this one has a lot of that postmodern feel to it, but this villainous character that lives at the center of the earth definitely felt like a Jack Kirby character. And for that, I got to give credit to Tom Taylor for that. I still feel like it has a postmodern edge to it, and I don't know if I necessarily like that in Marvel Comics.
Yeah. Can you guys explain who a few of these characters are?
Yeah, what's up?
So we've got the Living Tribunal, some sort of body with a floating head. I'm not familiar with that guy.
It's not a really widely utilized character. If I remember correctly, the Living Tribunal was a creation around the same era that Jack Kirby was creating a lot of those weird New Gods era style stuff.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. It might be later. I think it was in like the 80s that character was made. The Living Tribunal. Let me look it up really quick.
Yeah.
Keep going
And
while I'm
then-
doing this.
Yeah, and then everybody has a kid. All of the X-Men, all of the Marvel characters have paired up and had a kid. Now we've got the entire next generation here.
I was right the first time. It was a character made by Stan Lee, Marie Severin, and Herb Trimpe in 1967 from Strange Tales number 157. A character that's typically associated with the I don't want to say it's Doctor Strange stuff necessarily, but it is Strange Tales, which also kind of ties into Iron Man as well. But it looks like it is recently been used when Adam Warlock came into possession of the Infinity Gauntlet with the creation of the Infinity Watch. He's more strongly associated with the Watcher, obviously, because he's in there as well. And apparently he died from the Beyonders.
Okay.
He's a weird character.
Yeah. So we've got a bunch of kids in here, just like the entire next generation. Danny, May. I don't know what the name of this girl riding the dinosaur is. Lunella Lafayette.
You don't know Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur?
Moon Girl, that's right. No, I'm not familiar with them.
She's a really beloved character right now. She's the smartest character in the Marvel universe as of now, but they keep changing that. It's like Amadeus Cho's number 8, then he's number 6, and then Reed Richards is number 1, then he's number 2, and then is Val number 1. It's one of those, like, it depends on who you're reading at that time. I think that she's
How do I say this delicately? She's got the Riri Williams problem of being a token character, where they've created this young black character who's the smartest person ever.
It's a lot of the same issue that they had with Blue Marvel. Like, they made an interesting enough character, but they made them OP, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Which kid member is Val Richards?
Val Richards is
Richards. What character
Reed Richards'
has
kid?
the surname Richards?
I don't know. I'm guessing it's Richards.
Yeah, Reed Richards' daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the 4th or 5th kid?
Second.
Okay. So they've just made her younger now.
No.
All right.
Yeah, no, I mean, she's been in that age in the current Fantastic Four comics. They went away for a little while and came back just recently. And she actually aged up a little bit. So did Franklin.
Isn't there like a Nathaniel Richards as well?
That's like a great descendant.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Kang.
Kang. Okay.
Yeah.
But I still, who'd you say? Franklin. Franklin, I thought was supposed to, I mean, they've been kids for like forever, haven't they?
Yeah, like I said, they just recently came back from traveling around this space-time continuum, and they've actually aged up.
Yeah.
All right. Unfortunately, Dan Slott kind of ruined the whole Franklin thing, but
yeah,
he's
a piece of shit.
You're just a hater.
Yeah,
he's not a good writer.
It depends on what it is. I like his Silver Surfer stuff.
He's perfectly mediocre in everything.
Tell that to his Eisner Award that he got for his Silver Surfer story. That's a sentence.
I'm going to tweet.
And this is X-23 dressed up like Wolverine.
Yes,
and that's also Honey Badger right next to her.
Honey Badger, that's cool.
Yeah, also character made by Tom Taylor.
All right, well, that's good that Tom Taylor is getting to use characters that he created.
Characters that are cool and interesting as well.
Yeah, because I know that character got a lot of praise when he was on that run, the all new Wolverine stuff.
Yeah. Let's talk about the story here for a bit. This felt like you said it was 36 pages, so it definitely feels like around 32 pages of setup, and then the last 4 pages is let's deal with what's going on in the future and what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
problem with this book is the fact that the whole issue is just set up for issue 2, which is a weird
Yeah.
complaint, but like with Deceased, with Injustice, it all felt like part of the greater narrative.
I
whereas with
completely
this,
agree.
Do you think they needed like to call this like an issue 0? Would that made it better?
That's what it feels like to me, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think that the setup would have been better as an issue 0. I think the setup would have been better as a free comic book day story. I mean, at this point, I know it's a lot
Yeah.
of pages,
Yeah.
but still.
Yeah, just like
Well, it could have been shrunk down.
Yeah.
Moon Girl didn't really add anything to the story.
I mean, let's be
Cut out a
honest
few
here.
Several
There was
characters
like,
didn't.
yeah, there was
For
like 12
now,
pages there
they'll
of
come back.
them fighting the guy in the middle of the earth. And
Yeah.
I felt like
Yeah.
that could have been crunched.
kind of reminds me of Future's End. But this was good.
Yeah, I could see. Well,
Future's End had a great starting,
yeah, it did. It did.
had a ton of storylines that just went nowhere.
I'm interested. I was very interested to see how they were going to justify the lack of a power source, a power grid here.
Yeah.
And that being from Doctor Strange. I was really surprised at how fast he was just like, and they're dead, and she's dead, and he's dead. It's Tom Taylor, so I shouldn't be too surprised, but
Yeah,
I was
I mean,
definitely
there's
still
a-
surprised.
There's a planet-wide EMP, but like, things exist in EMP. Things inside like a fair.
I'm so fucking
There
thankful
should
that I'm
still
not
be
the issue
some-
right now.
This is hilarious.
This is like a total switch up for me. I'm not used to this.
Is it me?
Yeah,
is
it's
you.
really bad.
Fuck.
I'm really
My internet's
surprised.
been shit this week.
You're not the only one, man. Usually it's me.
I almost didn't get to go on a meeting this afternoon because the internet was cutting out.
That's when you use it as an excuse and you're like, oh, looks like I can't work.
No, I want to be on these meetings.
I know, but that's because you are a slave to the machine. And that's why you need to rage against the machine and
Oh, yeah.
blast killing in the name of while you're driving down
Yeah.
the steep.
All right. Well, the
While
audio
you're
will
rolling
come
down
through
Rodeo.
good
Yeah, I know.
from, my recording. I'm just sorry it's not coming through to you guys.
That's okay.
We'll just smile and nod every time you cut out and act like we can hear you and we're really interested in what you're saying.
Par for the course.
I'm going
Of
to do a
course, yeah.
clap and then we're going to enter back into it. Here we go.
Okay. So anyway, there's the EMP. You'd think there'd be some tech that's saved, inside a Faraday cage, things that are resistant to an EMP.
Yeah, absolutely. What's more is like, what about nuclear energy or hydro energy? I mean, I'm certain that there are other means of just creating electricity, outside of.
We'll
I mean-
see with the new Iron Man.
Yeah, steam powered. Ooh.
Yeah.
Also,
USA.
Peter Parker clearly has some sort of special web shooters.
Something.
He's also
Where
got,
they're hydraulic powered or something.
it looks like he's also kind of buffed up a bit over the years.
He
He's
finally
older, he's
became the
got the
daddy that
Mr.
we always knew he
Fantastic
was.
Hairline.
Yeah.
I
Well, I mean, his
looking-
muscles look more muscly than 2 pages earlier.
They do.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing a more mature take on this character.
You
He's
know,
a character who has the potential, but he keeps getting written as this teenage kid, even when he's like 30.
the thing that I keep seeing from a lot of authors is Peter Parker keeps getting written as the character who consistently just has the Parker luck. There's never any benefits. That's the thing that I can at least give some praise to Nick Spencer for, is he at least is trying to move certain things forward. It definitely feels like,
Well, no, let's get one thing straight. His run starts with Peter going back to school despite being like 35.
there's a reason for that though.
Yeah, but it's still putting him back.
Well, he's only going back to school for a little bit. The reason why is because of what happened while Doc Ock was
I'm
inside
aware
of Peter's
with-
body.
I'm aware of the story reason, but it's still like, oh, hey, Pete, like they got rid of his marriage. They like keep sort of slowly dating him. And it's like, oh, hey, why don't we have him go back to school for a bit?
Mhm.
To be fair, too,
That'll be
also,
fun, something we've never
Night
seen
school.
before.
yeah, right. Well, I mean, to be fair, Dan Slott has also written the 5-issue series of Renew Your Vows, where it's the future and he's got his,
That wasn't
wife and
him, was
daughter.
it? It was Jodie
Yes,
Alzer.
it was. Nope. That was the following series that
okay.
followed that storyline. Dan Slott was the one who wrote the original.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, enough about Peter Parker. I am confused about why Apocalypse was the
Why did
chosen one
I-
for this. Yeah, exactly.
Because he's a
Because he's badass
technopath.
as fuck.
That may be true, but I feel like it's a strange choice of character to utilize for this specific incident and then have Iron Man be a part of that team.
Also on the team,
Well,
we've got
it's not going to
Beast,
be Iron Man,
She-Hulk,
is it?
and Reed Richards.
I don't know.
So I'm okay with Reed Richards knowing that he is the maker in the Ultimate Universe, and I kind of justify it with that. But other than that, I don't really get the other characters.
Yeah, we've also got I don't remember her name, Wolverine's counterpart. Is that
X-23?
that's not X-23 at the end, is it?
Are you trying to say Beast?
No, the one with the long fingers.
The lady that grows the
No,
nails.
that's not her.
Who is that then?
That's Reed Richards.
No, below him.
Jesus Christ, Tyler. The one below him with the fingers.
The fingernails.
Hang on.
I
Please
can't
hold.
think of that. Lady Deathstrike. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. It's Lady Deathstrike, I think. Is it?
Yeah.
Yes, Lady Deathstrike. Thank you, Josh.
You're welcome.
It's clearly not Reed Richards, is it?
Well, he's behind her.
I know.
He's cloned
And-
himself.
Is that Venom or Carnage or one of the others?
That's a really good
Three?
question to ask. Okay, so that
The
is
picture
a-
shows a black guy in the preview for next issue. Like, we had Miles Morales earlier in the issue.
So I know
That'll be
that you guys
interesting.
don't know about this. That's why I'm going to help you with this. So this is the Abomination fused with Venom. The Abomination in specific that was used during the Immortal Hulk was a character from the Peter David run of Hulk. I can't remember his name. He was a black man. He was in the military. He hunted down the Hulks. That I don't think that's Lady Deathstrike, because Lady Deathstrike is Asian and this woman is
Yeah.
She looks Asian.
no, she looks like Latina or Brazilian or something.
I think that's just a colouring
Yeah.
issue. She looks Asian to me.
I don't tell her.
I'm suddenly reminded of a character that I had seen from Marvel Now, but I'll have to come back to that.
It's X-24. I don't know.
It's an interesting choice to have long-fingered Reed Richards right behind her, because I was so focused on him that that's all I could think of. I didn't even remember that she was there, to be honest with you.
Sue Storm is a
Yeah.
lucky girl.
I think maybe they're including Apocalypse because it looks like maybe they'll set up that like Apocalypse wears this living machine as like a suit of armor.
Maybe, but it also kind of defies the idea of him making the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. So these people are obviously working with him because they agree with what he has to say or do.
Mhm.
They're
And-
modern Illuminati.
This is also the question of, oh, that's actually not a bad idea. This is also a question of, does this take place in the universe that we know it, enough to the point that the X-Men island Krakoa exists where Apocalypse lives with them? Because obviously it's a different timeline and a different world because Peter Parker's daughter exists. So there's that.
Yeah.
Spider Daddy.
Spider Daddy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's obviously going to pick and choose what's canon, but I think it's just a very streamlined version of their world, similar to Deceased and Injustice, where stuff has happened, but you don't really need to know all the history to follow the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
I don't
doesn't
know,
seem very it doesn't seem very explained. Like
No.
after the EMP, Iron Man has somehow lost a leg.
Yeah, I
'Cause
guess.
he's falling out of the sky.
Yeah.
Well, there's a plane blowing up behind him. It will have something to do with that, I guess. It is strange,
It's
though.
very strange. Very, very, very
Yeah.
strange. I'm
The
excited to see Peter's
concept-
kid.
Yeah.
Do we think this version of Peter had the parachute in his suit, or do we think he roadied? Do we think he roadied it?
Oh, Spider-Man when he hit the ground.
Uh,
Are you talking about Iron Man?
Iron Man. He's falling from the
Oh.
sky.
Oh, then definitely
Yeah.
no. Because he definitely fell.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is
I
interesting.
don't know. Maybe Ant-Man catches him.
Someone is speculating that that's Nick Fury Nick Fury's son wearing the Venom symbiote suit, which I think is strange to think that, but I don't think that that's necessarily true.
Well, as Josh said, we saw Miles Morales somewhere in here.
Yeah, when the spider senses were going off.
Oh yeah.
So we see him. We see Gwen Stacy. And then in the preview for the next issue, we see May almost dressed like Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
I think giving all these characters are aged up, so I think giving Miles Morales something interesting to do would be a good idea.
That's an interesting question. What if that is
Deceased? They aged up John and Damien.
Yeah, so May is what, 2 or 3, and in the preview in the back, she looks like she might be 13. So it's been like maybe 10 years.
Yeah,
it's been 7 years.
Oh, 7 years. That's it. Sorry, I was looking at the one down there. It says
no, you're
after.
Fine. I don't know. I really like Tom Taylor. I guess I just don't feel like I'm as enthralled with this as I was hoping to be.
Like the most forced of all his Elseworld books at the minute.
Yeah.
Deceased felt very natural. It didn't feel very forced. Injustice had good flow. This just feels like, oh, I've got to write an Elseworlds Marvel story.
Yeah, this isn't even labeled as like a what if.
Oh, okay. So I just confirmed it. It looks like that is in fact Miles Morales wearing the Venom symbiote suit. It looks like it might be the same functional one as like what Gwen Stacy has.
Okay.
That's interesting. Okay. Well, that confirms that at least.
Another case closed.
I know we don't do ratings on the show, but I guess I kind of wanted to get your guys' opinions on this just to see like where you were at with this. For me personally, this is about like a 3 out of 5.
I would go higher than that.
7.5 out of 10.
Really?
7 out of 10.
I would have gone for 4 out of 5, which is an 8 out of 10. So I'm rating it the highest.
I probably would give it a 6 out of 10 just because I feel like it really doesn't. I'm still going to read the issue too, but I feel like it's going to be one of those stories right now where I'm so underwhelmed that I will be hesitant to pick it up, but I know I'm going to get it because Tom Taylor, and I'm probably going to collect the whole thing. I'm going to pull a Josh. That's what's going to happen.
I trust him enough that it's going to be enjoyable. At least
I agree.
It's not going to be like a Home or a Made in Korea where we get to issue 4 and we're like, why are we reading this?
You know, I mean, at least
I know we get some level of enjoyment out of this.
Absolutely. I do want to say, at least with Made in Korea, when we're reading that, those first couple of issues was like, oh, I'm kind of curious where this is going to go. You know, it's a fun little time to ourselves to say, okay, well, I wonder how this is going to go into the next issue. And then it was really disappointing, or at least it was for me. But yeah, I mean, if you want, we can move on to Geiger number 6.
Just one last thing. Do you think so Doctor Strange sends Sue Storm away? Do you think he just sends her back to the surface or somewhere else?
I mean, definitely back to the surface, I would say.
Yeah, I took it to be back to the surface. I didn't really think anything else of it.
Yeah, I don't think there's really anything else to it. I mean, they've been advertising her wearing that 1990s Thor outfit, like you said. So I think that she just got moved up. Yeah. Okay. Geiger number 6 by Gary Frank and Geoff Johns. This is the end of this story arc, as well as the lead up to the announcement that for the planned announcement, which will be revealed in the 80th anniversary issue, which will be highlighting the future of the Unnamed, Redcoat, Junkyard Joe, etc. How are we feeling, boys?
The fact that this is the end of volume 1 and we've already got another separate miniseries from this creative team. I wonder how long the delay is going to be before we get volume 2.
Yeah.
Because Gary Frank is very slow. He can do like 6 issues a year.
Yes, but this is also going to be other artists working on like the Redcoats, Brian Hitch, right?
Yeah, but it would be annoying having a different artist jump on a series that has an established art style.
Just match it. How hard can it be to match it? Just match it.
I think that realistically, because the industry functions the way that it does, having another artist hop in to do a separate character in a different book is functionally fine. I'm not too worried about that.
Doing Geiger Volume 2, you'd expect the same creative team.
Maybe,
I didn't personally take it as Geiger Volume 2 was going to lead into like Redcoat, and then
Well, no, they're all standalone, but I mean, this is the end of Geiger Volume 1. You'd expect Geiger Volume 2 to be Geoff Johns, Gary Frank, but they're doing Junkyard Joe.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
80-page giant Geiger is going to have
So I mean, if
guest writers and guest artists, so it's probably easing you into seeing how other people do this sort of art style.
yeah, because I assume Geoff Johns will still be writing, but if Gary Frank's doing the art on Volume 2 of Geiger, we already know Junkyard Joe is coming 2022.
Yeah.
Gary Frank can do roughly 6 issues a year. It means
Yeah.
we're going to be waiting until late 2022, early 2023 for Volume 2.
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe.
Which I'd rather
gotta
have a different artist do Junkyard Joe and get more of this next year.
I gotta say this, for this being the finale of this story arc, this definitely felt like some earlier Geoff Johns rather than, say, middle of his Green Lantern run Geoff Johns. I don't really have any complaints about it. I actually really enjoyed how this went.
I have a problem with how this is written.
Please tell me.
And it's a
I want
problem
to
I
hear.
had with the previous issue. It feels like he's making it up as he goes along.
I
which-
agree with that. Okay.
Obviously, he's a writer, that's what they do. But we get to like issue 3 and they pull this weird, like, oh, the timeline is like we're showing events out of order. Then you get to this one and they suddenly drop in the whole unnamed thing.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's like
So
it was an afterthought of this issue, like, oh, issue 6, we're introducing this world in exposition.
I don't disagree with you. I do want to point out that I don't know if I had said this before in a previous episode, but a lot of why there's that jumping around is because I feel like he's intentionally going for the sitting at a campfire narrative. And I hear you. I feel like what you're
Yeah.
saying is you're understanding that, but you're not liking it.
Yeah, I really enjoy the issues, but it's just the unnamed introduction in this issue just feels like an afterthought. Like he released the first 4 or 5 issues, and then he was like, "Oh, wait, we need to introduce the universe." Shit.
Yeah, well, the tale is kind of bookended,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but we get a little bit of more of it in 4 and 5, but we're really closing that here.
I'm okay with it because as they were having the battle between Junkyard Joe and Geiger, and there was that minor flashback to his creator, Junkyard Joe's creator, that felt like a sequence that I would have in Doomsday Clock. And the interesting thing that I can appreciate about Geoff Johns is that he's definitely trying something different, even if it is a little clunky at times. I can appreciate it, and I think that that's why I'm into it right now.
it's still
not
a very good comic. Like, it's
Yes.
not really a complaint; it's more a critique.
Well, don't back yourself out from there, because there's nothing wrong with having a complaint or a critique. I think that what you're saying holds value. I guess what I'm just saying is that while I can respect and sympathize with your critique, that same critique might be something that I'm actually really appreciating about it right now. There's no complaint about the art, obviously, right?
Yeah, the art's
No.
great.
Perfect. Yeah.
Flows.
Yeah, Brad Anderson's coloring's great.
Oh God, he's so good.
He's. So
I will
good.
say that this ending wasn't underwhelming. I was actually really, I actually laughed about it. I think that I felt the way about the king here, the way that most people felt about Joffrey's death in Game of Thrones.
I was literally just thinking Joffrey.
Were you really?
Yeah.
That's funny. So for me, when I watched that, I thought that that was a justifiable death. He's strangled to death. He
Spoilers for
suffocated.
Game of Thrones.
And they can fuck off.
Yeah.
Nobody likes Game
I
of
don't
Thrones.
recommend watching it.
I personally thought that that was a really cool scene, but I can understand people's criticisms because they hated him that much that they wanted him to suffer maybe even more than he actually did. That being said, this is a 6-issue story arc that has just finished, and a character that I've come to hate was wiped out fairly easily.
Yeah.
Something that we brought up in the last episode was that because there's a lot of that American tall tale feel with it, I think that's why I'm okay with it at this point. I don't want it all the time. I want the next story arc to maybe move on from that a little bit. But if we come back to that later, cool.
Well, it's not exactly like use your imagination to figure out how he died and how the battle went. Like Tariq literally goes off like a nuclear bomb and blows them all away.
Which I had interpreted as he maybe was killing himself, and that's why I was surprised when the camp tellers said no, that's not the end of him.
Well, I think
Because-
he was sacrificing himself, but then I assume he just didn't die like expected.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. With the power of love, he managed to
No, it's family.
conquer his abilities.
It's family.
The power of self-respect.
Josh, I want to ask you to do me the favor here. You're the guy who ends up finding a lot of those little details here. What did you find about this issue that was something that stood out to you a lot?
I think that Junkyard Joe is going to be a lot like RoboCop.
Okay, tell me
I
about
think
why.
Joe might have been human at one point. So if you see on the second page, it says the Vietnam War, the
Mhm.
robot, you see an almost human-like person standing there.
Okay.
And as he's dying or going offline, we see, I don't know if it's his creator or not. The guy's wearing the kind of green military shirt like they did.
Oh, yeah.
Like he just never took that off. Like it was the guy on the far right is one of his former war buddies
Okay.
that he's facing, and now he's visiting him almost as a robot.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if there's actually like parts of a man inside of Junkyard Joe.
I think that would make sense, right? Because it definitely, it's not a cyborg feel to it. I agree with what you're saying about RoboCop. I didn't think about that before, but now that you saying that, I full-heartedly agree. Let me ask you this as well, to both of you actually. The character at the end here, the female wearing the traditional American military garb,
The general.
who is that? Is that
She's from the previous issue, isn't she?
Is she? I thought that she was maybe just that young girl that Geiger saved, just grown up.
No, I think
No, because this is still
the
happening
events
at
that we're
present day.
seeing here are not exactly immediately following Tariq's explosion, but shortly after, because we see the king's mother here, and I don't know, maybe she's wearing a wig, but she's not as large or decrepit as she was in
clearly
the basement.
been bathed.
Mhm.
Yes.
She's not as large, but she's still in charge.
Yeah. I mean, the rest of the leaders of Las Vegas don't look much different than
Sure.
before, so it can't have been much longer.
No, I agree.
And you still have the, President Griffin, so I don't think much time has passed.
I'm compelled to agree with you. I guess I had just wanted to ask that because it seems like at least some degree of time had passed that they were telling the story like it was maybe a year or two ago.
The guy is doing the campfire storytelling is definitely years down the road, but the last 2 pages back in Las Vegas is just a bit of time later.
Okay.
The guy, you got the guy that's telling the story. It says the kids found help. The girl, she was someone special to me.
Okay.
So it's been long enough that like the myth of Geiger has grown, but you still need to be told about it. But it seems like the girl, maybe the girl would be about the same age as this guy telling the story, or maybe she traveled and was part of the group. I don't know.
Before I ask this question, is there anything else you guys wanted to comment about before moving if we were to move on, for example?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I just hope his dog's okay.
Barney, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the thing that I wanted to start doing on the show. Since this is the end of this story arc, I wanted to ask your guys' opinions on ratings for this story arc as a whole instead of just the issue.
The arc is pretty good. It drags a little in the middle.
7.5. Because again, I
that's a
still
hard
had the
one.
problems with the narrative structure.
Okay.
It's definitely a recommend, but for the score.
Take your time.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I guess I don't want to be like too consistent with my scoring for today, but it's definitely like somewhere around an 8 out of 5, maybe a little more than that.
8 out of 5. What high
8 out of 5. You know me. Perfect score.
Beyond perfect.
Yeah, beyond perfect. No, sorry, 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm gonna say maybe even. I hate being this fucking asshole, but I'm gonna say an 8.25.
Oh,
like an
8.25. Fuck you.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Listen, I am this way because my father beat me. I'm sorry. I mean, he didn't beat me enough.
Yeah.
I liked a lot of what was going on here. I feel like growing up and then watching movies and reading books about American Tall Tales, this kind of makes me feel really nostalgic, but I feel like this is an exciting new age take on things. And I'm obviously a big fan of Fallout and Geoff Johns and Gary Frank. It's a lot of what I love. I don't think it's perfect. Oh, what's up?
It's Geoff
the guy
Johns
telling the
from
story is Rick. Rick, the kid that helped him escape. That's the guy telling the story. He's got the eye patch.
Oh,
shit.
Look at you. And this is why I keep you on the show.
He's got the eye patch right there. That's the kid.
This is why we haven't taken him off yet.
You see the glass is cracked. He's bleeding from his eye right there.
Yeah, I wondered why they're making such a big deal out of his eye.
I didn't think anything of it at all.
No reason. It was just weird that it happened and they didn't really address it. He just
and radiation is just like, am I a fucking joke to you?
Damn, good job, Josh. That's something to mark down there. Okay, cool. Awesome. I want to ask if we wanted to move on to Firepower.
Let's do it.
I suppose so.
All right, Firepower number 15 by Kirkman and Samnee. Thoughts?
I like this issue a lot.
Me too. I'm very happy with how this story arc is progressing. I'm gonna give some criticisms about Kirkman though. I feel like he has an unrealistic idea of how people have conversation. People aren't this intuitive. People are much more clunky.
Things are resolved easily.
Way more easily.
That page where they are talking things out and Owen is basically apologizing. There's one specific speech bubble that I wanted to call out. So it's the kind of the second page of that kind of 2-page spread right there to the top right. He's the middle speech bubble in that 3 speech bubble connection where he says processing that took some time. I'm sorry, I didn't tell you. I don't know why I didn't. I think I was just embarrassed. And you just see all those eyes just lined up in a row.
What page is that?
That I don't know what the page number is. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Page 7. Page 7, the third, sorry. Third panel.
Yeah.
So that's some good lettering right there.
The way that these panels are set up is really impactful with the silhouette in the darkness. I do really enjoy that, but I feel like it's a lot of the same complaints that I had about what he did with Walking Dead. There's a lot of times where it almost feels like a sitcom special where everything kind of gets resolved in 30 minutes. And I just don't think that that's realistic. I feel like I don't know if I really want that in my books.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to enunciate it, too much, but I wanted to point out all of the eyes, and then you just have all of these eyes just lined up along the side of the speech bubble.
No, that's why I said that. I completely agree.
Yeah. I think it's very intentional to line all that up because you could have wrapped it around somewhere else.
The criticisms that I have about Bendis' speech is typically that I understand the motivation for a lot of the interruptions in the speech patterns. I think that that's clunky human talk. I think Kirkman can take just maybe 5% of that and put it into his speech, and also at least understand that having a wife who's insecure about her husband's relationship with long dead girlfriend does not make her an asshole. You know,
No,
I mean, I wouldn't look
don't
at
think
her
they
less.
painted her. I don't think they painted her that way.
No. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that I think that they overly made her way too
Sympathetic.
not sympathetic, but just
Way too mature.
almost inhumanly forgiving and sympathetic, to the point where I just feel like there's been many times where I've been in a relationship with anybody and there's been some clunkiness in the communications, that point where we say something, maybe they don't mean it, or their feelings are hurt and they don't know how to express it. I mean, that's just, I also have to forgive it because it's a comic book, and it's also a comic book about snakes possessing people and guys who can shoot fire out of their hands. So, I mean, there is that, you know, but that's my criticism for that. Everything else about this I really enjoyed, and I especially like the way that this issue ended. I thought that was really funny.
Okay, so
Yeah, I did like the whole sequence with
Waylon.
Waylon
Mhm.
running away from the snakes, and
yeah,
When he bites
if
off
he
the
can-
goddamn
if he can bite the head off of that snake, why doesn't he just, take the snake out of Chow Fang?
I feel like he is channeling his inner Ozzy Osbourne every
Yeah.
new issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all he needs to do is just like stick his tongue out. Ah.
Someone has been in my room and drank all my beers.
Sharon!
Sharon! I hate that he's one of those guys that it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Every single person can do an impression of him, except for Sean.
except me, I don't do impressions.
I really want to see you do more impressions.
No.
I really do. I want to see you do an Essex accent. That's what I really want to see.
No, you'll never see it.
Oh my God. It's like, I'm just trying to find my way around the pub. You know what I'm saying? I know it's bad.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah.
Love you, babe.
Yeah, I like
don't know.
the final panel. Waylon's like, not again.
Yeah.
Shit.
That did make me laugh.
Okay, let me ask you this. Josh, you're the only one here who's married. As far as like the relationship between him and his wife, what do you feel? Because I feel like you're the one who actually has more.
How do you and your wife deal with your dead ex-girlfriend still being alive?
And how do your children, knowing that they have fire powers now, how do you relate to them?
It gets
Has
better.
Calvin
with time.
unlocked his firepower yet?
You learn to talk to each other.
You know what? That makes sense. Joking aside, you are the only one in the room right now that has actually the most sympathy towards Owen. I mean, the only thing that I can have is him as a male. That's pretty much it.
I mean, it's not too far off. I mean, if you're talking to each other like adults, then you can try and get through stuff. I mean, we still argue about stuff and say the wrong things to each other, but we try and hash things out.
Let's say that you find out. Yeah. Excuse me. Let's say you're in a scenario where you feel like you're in present danger. Would you bring your wife along?
Yeah, I mean that's a very comic booky part.
Yeah.
Where the kids and the wife come along when you don't know if they're going to be, in the way, but also you're trying to protect them at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, that the only place they're going to be safe is with you, versus this time you're like, well, I think we can leave the kids behind, although the snake can get everywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't see much of a difference between then and now.
Yeah. I feel like he's setting it up to kill the wife at this point.
I don't think I like that.
I mean, I don't know if I really would either, but let me give you some examples. There's a lot of sympathizing, a lot of characterizing her as being really enjoyable. She's feisty. She's got a lot of really strong energy.
She can hold her own. So I think she's going to start learning some of the tricks of the trade. And who knows, maybe she'll be able to launch a fireball and we'll prove it's not just genetic.
Maybe he's got spicy semen.
Yep.
And let me ask you this. Would you take $1 bet that the wife will die or not?
In how many issues? Ever?
I am going to take a wager that within the next 2 story arcs, she will die. $1. Will you take that bet with me?
This, including this story arc, so this story arc and the next.
Yes.
Sure, I'll do the $1 bet on that.
Sick. And you can go on patreon.com/cultofcomics and make sure that you can fund my betting habits.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all the money goes to Tyler.
You know what? We can't do legal gambling on the show, but what we can do is have you go into our Discord chat, and then you can do any kind of wagers that you like, thanks to cultofcomics.com or patreon.com/cultofcomics.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't really have anything else to say outside of just like praise for Chris Samnee.
Yeah. We more that too for the Scorched Earth clan is not one of you guys.
That's okay. You're fine.
Okay. Scorched Earth clan, they think it's a fire breathing dragon, but it's literally, they say it's the opposite. It's a dragon. They're eating the fire. The dragon eats the fire. Fire kills the dragon.
Yeah, which was smart because that actually, I thought the same thing. I thought it was spitting fire this whole time, but when you actually pay attention to the direction of it, it is a little detail that might be missed.
Yeah,
but you're a little details Josh. That's what you're all about.
Yeah.
Did you read anything in the letters column that we should know about?
Nothing really insightful. There's one point where one of the readers is critiquing some of the comic, and Kirkman goes, "Is that Eric Stevenson? Did he write in?"
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta say this really quick. If they do end up making a movie or a show about this, I really hope they get Ralph Macchio in here somehow. I don't care what role he is in. I want him in it.
Yeah. Okay. There was the reveal that the reason that the Chris Samnee and Robert Kirkman talked to each other about the issue after the letter column. It's called RC Coda, and the R and C are basically their first names. I don't think I picked up on that before.
Oh, okay.
Robert and Chris. Yep.
Is there anything you wanted to throw in there before we move on to what are we talking about next? Many Deaths of Laila Starr.
Yeah, let's go on to that.
Cool. Sounds good. Now I'm going to let Sean lead us into that because there's a bit of news with this as well, as far as the Many Deaths of Laila Starr and how it's been rated.
Yep, just give me 5 seconds.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, half.
Let's talk about that cover.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about
the clouds.
You and me.
Yeah,
Okay.
so Many Deaths of Laila Starr is the highest rated series on Comic Book Roundup as of recording.
How do we feel about the fact that it is the highest rated comic on any website ever? At all,
I'm not sure it's the best I've ever read, but it is. It has
damn
been
good,
awe-inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, issue 3 is one of the highest rated single issues of anything, which was the cigarette issue.
And that's a damn good issue. To me, I picture a graph, like a bell curve almost, with how this series has impacted me in a lot of ways. It definitely, I actually really like the gentle flutter of an ending. However, I guess that I'm mixed because I want to say that the surprise reveal that he had discovered immortality so long ago.
I didn't think that was a surprise reveal. That was the most predictable reveal I could have imagined.
I didn't predict that at all.
I did expect that.
Well, I'm a dumb skank, so I mean, forgive me.
You were expecting Ozymandias bullshit.
Tyler was expecting the actual cure for death. He wanted to live forever.
Honestly, I didn't think that he was going to have it. I thought it was going to be a mistake from the gods.
Oh. Huh.
I really love the poetry in this. I'm a big slut for poetry.
The mistake is thinking that it was going to change the world. Maybe somebody finds the shoebox, but it seems like the cure to, immortality is going to be lost to the ages.
Yeah.
Well, I took it as immortality did end up getting out into the world because death and life went off to create something new.
Mm-hmm.
I took it to be that whatever he had wasn't the real cure. Like them going off together was it sort of happening.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
I think he found something.
I kind of wish that the many-faced god had made a few more appearances in this.
But would that have taken away from the humanity of the story?
I
Because
don't think so.
outside of issue 1, which was very godly and trippy and weird, every issue has been very grounded in basic humanity.
Yeah.
And to have an 8-headed god showing up throughout, I think would have just detracted from the humanity a little.
I see what you're saying, but I feel like the talking crow is something to consider as well.
There's bits and pieces in each, each
comic. A sentient church.
Mm-hmm.
I think the message in this is beautiful, and I think that this is a big example of why people should be reading comics that aren't superheroes. And
aren't you glad me and Josh pressured you into this, Tyler?
Oh my God, immensely.
Yeah.
Much in the same way that I'm so glad that I finally gave into watching Lucifer.
Oh yeah.
Isn't Tom Ellis attractive?
God damn, he is. Like sometimes when he does that creepy smile of like, what do you desire? I'm like, I'm not that into it, but fuck you. I love
you, Tom Ellis. I want you.
Oh, not
Have
me.
you guys ever listened to lo-fi radio?
Yeah.
I kind of get that same sort of vibe from a lot of this series. Like it's just, I mean, it deals with some very impactful stuff, but it's
absolutely
very chill. It's got that aesthetic.
Yeah, I agree. Why don't we take a second to rate the whole series? Yeah, absolutely. But also let's rate the whole series. Yeah, the 5-issue miniseries of this book.
9.5 out of 10.
It's high praise.
High quality book.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to try and split hairs any more than Sean. Yeah, I think 9.5 is accurate.
I kind of want to go back and reread the whole thing now, but as of this moment, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I feel like a 9.5 is damn near perfect, and I feel like issue 3 had more impact than the rest of the book itself. But issue 4 was the one that made me actually feel a stronger sense of emotion.
Well, issue 2 as well, I found beautifully told, like him dealing with his friend, like his not father figure, but like his adult role model's death.
Yeah.
And like the scene where he goes to the funeral and they're all on the beach putting the candles in the water. It was just very beautiful, and I don't know.
No, I agree.
I feel like every issue has had something different that I've been able to appreciate about it.
Yeah. The thing about stories like this to me is it is going to leave a lasting impact on me. I am going to be thinking about it for years to come. I'm going to be thinking about this the same way that I feel about The Fountain from Clint Mansell and Darren Aronofsky. I'm going to be thinking about this the same way that many scenes in American Beauty left me feeling. Yeah, this is a high piece quality of art, and I don't think it's perfect, but damn near perfect. And I'm not going to dissuade you. Am I using that right? Dissuade you from saying 9.5 out of 10. I think that I just personally think that there could have been at least just one little bit more at that last issue. But I am going to recommend this to everybody.
Yeah, and I'm going to just take this time to shout out his next book, which is Radio Apocalypse from Vault Comics.
Hell yeah.
Not the same artist. The artist is, God, that's a long name. Anand Radhakrishnan. And I just want to point out on the cover, they've condensed his last name to RK.
Anand or Ranakrishnan?
Radhakrishnan. Yes.
Okay, cool.
That clearly didn't fit on the cover. So just put Anand RK.
Okay.
So this is about the apocalypse where a meteor struck Earth, and in Bakerstown stands the last radio station on the planet. It is broadcasting into the unknown, a beacon in the dark for those who wander the lost places.
Excellent.
Now change is coming among the refugees flocking into an already precarious settlement. An orphan boy, Rian, gets caught in an indiscretion that will twine his fate with the radio station. And in doing so, will begin the mixtape of Love and Heartbreak and Interminable Hope, the soundtrack to the end of the world.
You don't know this about me, but I actually am a huge fan of radio station stuffs.
But just adding on to this, something a few books been doing recently, I believe this book comes with a soundtrack.
I'm feeling the endorphins right now. I'm excited. I am actually excited. I really am. Man, I really can't tell you how happy that makes me to hear that. I'm actually really like, I'm really looking forward to the future.
Radio Apocalypse.
Okay, I'm pumped. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling up.
Did link it in the chat the other day somewhere. Because there's a few things from Bolt I'm going to be checking out over the next few months with some interesting creators.
All right. Tyler, you mentioned the poetry.
Yes.
A little bit ago. I don't think we really delved into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for bringing that up. Did you want to say anything about that?
We just have 3 little poems by somebody named Acker Puri, and the book is literally like the many deaths. It's not anything. This was just something that was created for this book, unless it's something that hasn't been translated to English.
I actually I shared this poetry with somebody in my life, and they were like, "Oh my god, that's beautiful!" And it's some good shit. It's some good shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's good. It's like the kind of poetry that any of those like shitty Facebook posts try to emulate but don't quite get to.
Yes,
like it's just past the point where it's cringy that it's good. Like it's okay. The real deal and not like some fake shit.
Sure. I mean, it's not Robert Frost, but it's damn good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to pressure us to move on from here because I actually am enjoying this, but is there anything you would like to say before we move on?
I'm just going to say this book has turned Ramby into a creator. I'm going to check out any number 1 from him from now on.
I completely agree. I definitely feel like him having the freedom to do something like this is more entrancing than some of the other stuff he's done. Not to say that other things.
DC stuff is good, but it doesn't grip me, whereas this really did. Yeah,
I 100% agree. I still really enjoyed Justice League Dark, and I've still really enjoyed Swamp Thing.
I forgot about Justice League Dark.
Yeah.
I need to read Swamp Thing. I've been collecting it, but need to sit down and I'm waiting for it to finish at this point.
It's been different. I fell off. I think I'm 2 issues behind now, but it's been different.
Yeah, I read the first 2 issues like this is brilliant, and then just for whatever reason fell off.
Yeah, I know. I'm much the same way.
I'm still picking it up. So once it's finished, I will just binge read it in one go.
I'm really sorry to say this because I know that we're kind of going over time a little bit, but I just want to get this out of the way really quick. Is there a comic that you guys can think of that like really like just hit you? Because this book definitely impacted me. I can't say that it hit me much like the ending for Doomsday Clock, for example.
Yeah. Are we talking like recently, or are we going back to just like
overall
Watchmen?
Because for me, I'm not joking. Why the Last Man, still to this day, when I think of that storyline, the second to last issue is I've never yelled at a comic book before. When I read that, I screamed. My roommate at the time was like, "What's wrong with you?"
Not to like spoiler things, but I think they basically said like earlier in the series, like when we get to that point, this is what's going to happen. I think that rule was set very early on in the comic.
Yeah.
For me, if I had to think of something that's really hit me, It's kind of a basic one, but Wally West's return in DC Universe Rebirth.
I don't think that that's basic
Because
at all.
the way the scene was playing was he thought he was about to die and he was saying goodbye to Barry.
Mhm.
And you sort of have him fading away into the Speed Force. And you can sort of see like his past selves behind him, like just sort of faces of him wearing like Kid Flash mask and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Thank you, Barry, for an amazing life."
Yeah.
And even now, I've just come up with goosebumps just remembering it.
I'm really not joking when I say this. The fact that you are a fan of the Flash is something I actually really do treasure about you, because I think that that's an endearing quality.
But the thing is, at that point, I hadn't really read much. Like, I only started reading comics really in 2015, and that issue came out 2016.
Okay.
It was just how good the writing was in that issue that I could read those few pages and be like, "Holy shit! Like, this is so well made that it's really hitting me." I'm just seeing if I can find these pages sent for chat now.
Yeah. Do you remember that scene in Ultimate Spider-Man when, or I'm sorry, not in Ultimate Spider-Man, in Spider-Man, when they travel across the universes into the other universe and they ask questions about each other, like, what's Nick Fury like? And he's like, white. And then they talk to Gwen Stacy.
Say again, sorry.
In Spider-Man, when they talk to Gwen Stacy, do you remember that sequence when they travel to the other universe, Ultimate Universe, and then they talk about that? When Peter gets confronted by Gwen Stacy about like what she like in the 616 universe.
I've never read this.
Oh my god! Like, there's a lot of things that Ben just.
And now his internet goes.
This is done like that, and I actually like I just sit down for a second, just like think. I'm sorry.
It's fine over here.
What about you, Josh?
I'm trying to think of some stuff. I mean, you go back to maybe some of the older stuff like Dark Knight or Watchmen. I'm trying to think of some good like Image series, or Boom has had some good original series. The shorter ones are a lot of like the more impactful ones. It seems like things that don't run for a long time. I mean, Why the Last Man or Ex Machina, anything by Brian K. Vaughan is always very touching.
Oh, you shit! Discord.
And I go back and forth on like.
I just sent you guys the pages that I was talking about, and it sent them out of order.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
It sucks.
I still know the issue. Yeah.
I go back and forth on which one is better, Ex Machina or Why the Last Man.
I really need to read Ex Machina.
I've only read the first issue. I really need to actually power read it because I know they're making a show of it right now.
Oh my god!
Doesn't that have Oscar Isaac in it?
You, as somebody from, I know it's set in New York, but I think some parts of the series.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of there are some good Boom series. When they do the original content, they choose like some really high quality stuff. You've read like Clive Barker's Next Testament.
I haven't read it, but I know about it. Yeah.
Or any of like, there's a lot of imprints at Image, like Top Cow, that do really interesting things. Like, if you ever read 10 Grand, J. Michael Straczynski?
No, but I know of the story. A lot of people have recommended it to me, so it's on my list.
Can't think of the artist's name right now that did the first half of the series.
Templesmith.
Ben Templesmith.
Ben Templesmith. That's
yeah.
He's great.
Yeah. I could go on about this, but I know that we should probably move along. I'm sorry.
We can move on.
What's next?
We can do Undiscovered Country real quick.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's weird having two books this week that mention the heroes like John Henry, like what are the other ones I'm thinking of?
Oh, Annie Oakley.
Yeah.
Annie Oakley. Well, she was a real person. That was funny.
Betsy Ross is a real person. I'm not familiar with Molly Pitcher. But that's
Molly Pitcher? I don't even know that one.
Yep.
She was a part of the American Revolutionary War. Mary Ludwig Hayes was a woman who fought in the American War of Independence of the Battle of Monmouth. The woman behind the Molly Pitcher story is most often identified as Hayes, but it is likely that the legend is an amalgam of more than one woman seen on the battlefield that day.
Yeah, she's got one of those almost like a chimney sweep for working on cannons.
Yeah.
Paul Bunyan, Davy Crockett, those were real folks.
They were.
Actually, yeah.
John Henry was fake, right?
I don't know. I don't know much about him. I thought that was a folk tale.
Oh, well, a lot of them are folk tales, but
yeah. Davy Crockett, I actually stayed on the property of his like 4 times great grandson. They have a whole series of caves in Kentucky, but they're real like old school. They're like, if you look at their daughters, they will shoot you.
That's weird.
I mean, that was probably something. We were like 13 at the time, so they were just trying to, the scout leaders were probably just trying to fuck with us.
Oh shit! Apparently, there actually was a real John Henry as well, but the mythology, the legend of him, was specifically about going up against the steam-powered rock drilling machine, and that his heart gave out from stress. However, apparently, a researcher named Scott Reynolds Nelson found out that the real John Henry was born in 1848 in New Jersey and died of something called silicosis, not due to exhaustion. Who knew? I don't really know what to feel about this arc right now, since it's focusing on the lore. That's cool. It's interesting that they dug into the comic book superheroes first.
I think I'm finding this more interesting than the last arc.
Yeah,
this
I
is
agree.
Issue 3 of the arc, so we're 3 out of 6 in.
Is it 3? I thought it was 4.
We're on issue 15. I think the first 2 arcs were 6.
You're right.
6.
Yeah.
You're right. Yep. Once again, you are correct, and I am wrong. I apologize. Lord save me. What the hell is up?
What
is up with this cover? Yeah, you are.
No,
but the covers tend to predict what's coming in a few issues, so it might be they make a song as their thing.
Maybe everyone's representing like a different style of music here.
Yeah, we've got
punk, grunge, rap, lounge singer.
Yeah. Diva, pop star, or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. I feel like this is going to tie into the Crossroads Devil of some kind, but I thought
that's an interesting bad guy.
Okay, so here's another thing that I have an issue with this. This is another example of a series. I think that if you're going to say something, and I feel like the underlying thing here could be that the majority of issues with America is dealings with the devil, and I feel like a lot of what is carrying over is how much the fiction of America, the idea of America, challenges the reality of America. And I think that's smart, but I feel like it's not really hitting home as much as they want. I don't know if I'm just reading too much into it.
Well, it's kind of the same twist every time, that things are not what it seems, and the people that you trust are really working with the bad guys.
Yeah.
Or, the people that you trust are the people that you should fear the most.
Yeah.
Because once again, they're being bamboozled by the people they trust.
I also wonder how other people who are not American are feeling about these characters that are very not American being written. Sometimes I can I remember that they're Canadian, English, Chinese, Pan-American, whatever, but a lot of the time I forget because it just doesn't like coming across that way. Like very rarely when he says like Lottie, or when they flash back to Ace's history, which a lot of what this issue is that reminder of this is his origin story. It seems to be a lot of
origin stories.
I was just going to say, it seems to be pretty carrying over. Is this the Scott Snyder thing or a Charles Soule thing? I don't know.
Did you say Charles Soule?
Yeah, isn't it Soule?
It's Soule.
Okay.
Rookie mistake, Tyler.
I'm sorry, Daddy.
What was the name of the guy with the antlers and the crab arm?
The Destiny
Great
Man.
Destiny Man. Yeah.
Destiny Man. I would have thought he would have appeared by now.
He's scheming. He's somewhere.
I mean, how fast was the fight between him and the gigantic what's-her-face from the last location?
You think they're just gonna kind of skim over him this arc and bring him back next arc?
I think that he's going to fight the Crossroads Devil for supremacy, and I think that that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to be the ultimate bad guy, and every new villain is going to be challenged by him.
Yeah. What kind of deal do you think the Devil's going to try and make with each member of the team?
Right off the bat, I'm going to say that with Chang, it's going to be about power, since he seems to be really focused on making sure that he brings something back of value to his country and making sure that his opponents, whatever the opposing country is, doesn't seem to have any superpower over his. I think that Lottie's going to ask for the cure for the Sky virus, knowing that she's responsible and that the last Sky virus was destroyed, or Sky virus cure, sorry. Or maybe she'll ask for her parents back. I'm curious about the character that doesn't seem to be evolving or really being investigated upon at all is the one who's been opposing Chang. Janet, thank you. I feel like she's just there at this point.
Yeah,
now,
I kind of see that.
You know? I don't know. How are you guys feeling about this series right now? I feel like
It's
investing.
dragging.
Yeah, I agree.
It feels like there's 10 zones and it's going to be 10 arcs and 60 issues.
Yeah.
Is there only 10 zones? They didn't go for 13?
Or it might be 13. That's even worse, Josh.
65 issues?
Well, no, 'cause it's going to be
it's
it's going to be 6
arcs,
issues and arcs. If there's 13 arcs,
78.
it's going to be, I
We
don't
gotta
know.
speed up. We gotta skip some areas.
I mean,
At
I
some
feel
point,
like
they're gonna be like,
to.
"Can't we just cut through?" And they're gonna try and cut through or break through to some areas.
We mentioned Why the Last Man earlier. There was a point where it felt like they were like, look, we already know what's gonna, like, what you think is gonna happen next. We're gonna jump right into the next thing from there. Like with the revelation about him being shown to the newspapers across the world, like naked. I feel like there might be something that would be the smart decision to make, to kind of have that, oh, you thought you knew what was going to happen next. Let's jump forward.
Do I think Scott Snyder's a good enough writer for that, though?
Does he have the attention span to go that long?
I recognize that Scott Snyder is a good
It depends
writer.
if he's on his Adderall or
not. I think that Scott Snyder suffers from
ADHD.
I would say that his eyes are bigger than his stomach, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, we're recording this a bit late, so we're about to talk about Infinite Frontier #5, and I've already read the next issue that we'll talk about. And reading that just made me hate Scott Snyder's Death Metal even more, because I just realized what an incoherent mess it is, and that it's still possible to tell a good multiverse story.
Yeah.
Like, Scott Snyder needs a co-creator that reins him in.
That's what I'm confused about with this, is because Charles Soule is a creator that has, succeeded in his storytelling on his own. That very much is his. A lot of what happened with Wizard in that Magic comic. What's it called again? I can't remember. What's it called? Charles Soule's Wizard comic. What's it called?
I don't know.
It's gonna bother me. Anyways, that very much is a unique story for him, and I feel like he's a lot more down to earth than Scott Snyder is. That's why I'm surprised that this is going.
You are aware he's spearheading the Star Wars books at the minute.
That may be true, but what I'm saying is that when he writes his characters, he focuses on those characters and making them. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I've not read enough of his stuff, but bits I have read, so I do kind of get what you mean.
I loved what he did with Red Lanterns.
I feel like Scott Snyder's one spearheading this book, though.
Yeah.
Because the ideas are larger than life and convoluted, and especially issue 12 of the run, that felt like an issue of death metal.
Yeah.
With them just like randomly sizing up and just fighting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Curse Words is the name of the comic, the magic comic book that he wrote.
Oh, that's what you're going for. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know he did that.
That's what I'm saying is like he's done the Fantastic before, but the way in which he does it, it actually almost feels like how Lucifer has a lot of that like grand idea, but there's a comical element to it, and there's a lot more finesse and focus on how it's going to go. Scott Snyder is boom. He's like fireworks, like just explosions all the time.
Yeah. Like, I hope his new creator own stuff is more reined in.
Yeah. He's gonna do like 5 now. It's so much.
What do you mean 5? He's announced like 8 new titles, plus Witches is coming back.
Oh, that's finally coming back. It's been like 6 years.
Well, it's coming back.
Yeah. I see what you mean. All right. I'm sorry. I know I didn't mean to make us drag on that a little bit longer. Should we move on to Infinite Frontier?
Yeah.
You guys go on with this, and I'll come back in a few.
No worries. Take your time, bud.
Kids to bed, you know.
Yeah.
But if you guys are doing this and then Batman Fear State Alpha, that'll give me enough time.
Sounds good, bud. Thank you.
Going to lock them in the basement.
Infinite Frontier number 5 to me felt very rushed, but goddamn, that ending was cool.
It moves stuff along very briskly. I don't know if I can. Rushed feels like a negative. I feel like it's nice to have an issue that doesn't drag. It
feels like speed walking rather than going the pace that I think that he actually wanted to go. I think that if Josh Williamson had been given this maybe as like a 12-issue series, and then he didn't need to carry on to the next.
The problem is sometimes those series dragged. Like we had Death Metal where it all just dragged out and we just wanted it to end. And I don't know. It was a dense issue, but I still enjoyed it every single plot beat.
Yeah, this is where my conflict is what happened. I really enjoyed. I enjoyed everything that happened in this. I'm thoroughly confused what happened with Director Bones, where he's wearing that cape, but that was funny. I think Williamson is a fantastic superhero comic writer.
Yes.
And I know I made the joke earlier about how I don't have to read Batman now, but in all seriousness, I am actually looking forward to it. I think that he, when given the reins to characters that he very clearly cares about, he can do phenomenal stuff with them. And I think that it's cool to see something with the JSA and Roy Harper, especially. What's been going on with this Darkseid plot at the end here? Spoiler alert, by the way. Darkseid shows up at the end. I don't know what's going on with those chains, man, but I dig it. Kids love chains. I don't know. So, let me ask you this. You're the bigger fan. Oh,
sorry. Going back to Direct Bones with the cape, that is the original Earth 2 Direct Bones.
Thank you so much for clarifying that. See, I didn't know that.
It literally says it in the boxes on page. It's like, this is the original Earth 2 Cameron Chase. She was erased in the Crisis.
I saw that, but I didn't see the Director Bones one. Hang on, I have it in front of me.
Well, it doesn't say about him, but like, it's clearly implied.
Implied, but usually they're better about like just directly saying it, right? So I guess that's why I was confused. Because when I actually get to the Earth 2 one, they say like it directly.
Just, you need to focus more, Tyler. Just get your Adderall.
I did actually.
Tip a load into your hand, throw them up in the air, open your mouth and try and catch as many as you can, and then read it.
That's actually the same way I try to get all the boys at the bar. Joking aside, I really enjoyed this. I'm excited to see how this is going to end because you seem to be hyping it up.
Yep. For folks at home, we're recording. Well, I've already said we're recording this a bit late, and I've already read the next issue, so I'm keeping it spoiler free. But wow.
You know what's not fun for me is I don't want to feel this way, but I do feel like having Marino and Pelletier on art here was something of a mistake. I feel like having just a single artist on this.
Yeah, it's a 5-issue miniseries, and Zamanico hasn't been able to keep it up.
No, not at all.
Zamanico does do all the art for issue 6, though.
I mean, so that's good. I mean, he's a great artist. I don't even know if it's a consistency issue, really. I feel like the jumping around sometimes can be fun, but I feel like when I look at the cover,
at least it's not like when we're reading the Infinite Frontier one shot, and you get to the end and you've just got that.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. I do really wish that Mitch Gerrard's had actually done the whole series.
Busy doing Strange Adventures,
which is almost done, and I don't know how I'm feeling about it so far, but I'm definitely I'm optimistic.
I've subscribed to Human Target.
Oh, okay. When's that coming out?
November, I think.
Okay, cool. That's an 8-issue series again, or
maybe a 10. Let's have a look. It comes out November 3rd.
I'm excited for Tom King to start stretching his legs more. I'm excited for him to actually do stuff that is outside the norm.
Because it's Supergirls. Great.
Oh my god, it's fantastic from
start. I really, really want Batman Catwoman to end.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
I don't even hate it. I just recognize that it's a lot of that not finishing the Batman story arc, and I'm just kind of tired of it now.
Yeah, I enjoyed most of his Batman run. This just feels like everything that was wrong with it turned up to 11.
Yeah, I mean, it's not nearly as bad as like how I felt with Heroes in Crisis.
No.
they really shit the bed with that one. Editorial did, at least.
Oh, did I send you a picture of what I bought the other day?
Mm-mm.
Speaking of Heroes in Crisis. Sorry, I messed up my pillows on my...
You're fine.
Chair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Which is funny because I think I actually tried sending that to you.
That's funny because
I think I did offer to send that to you.
Maybe. I picked it up for like 50 cents.
Yeah, see, I would have sent it to you for free.
Well, 50 cents. Like, I'm not really losing sleep over that. I also managed to pick up my shop has like a fuckload of back issues and they're just trying to get rid of them as quickly as possible.
Sure. Did they have a sale or?
They just have a fuckload of boxes on the top floor of their shop and they're like, go have a look, take what you want.
If you
so I got like issues 1 to 4 of Tom Strong by
Alan Moore. Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
It's weird because these are both issue 1.
Mm.
They have the same barcode.
Is one a direct edition and the other one is a newsstand or what?
I really don't know. They both say direct sales. They both have the 0011.
They have to be then they're the exact same issues.
Exact same issues. It's number
That's
1.
Weird.
They've got the same ad on the back.
Okay.
So clearly one's got a typo barcode.
Yeah.
Yeah, you open it, it's the same story inside, same ads. But one's an Alex Ross cover. And also...
Nice. Very, very nice.
50 cents.
Fuck yeah, dude. Astro City #1. Kurt Busiek is a great writer. If you do end up
graded one of that, a graded one of that is going for like $200.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's because they've been trying to work on making that into a show for years. It got optioned a while back. If you do end up coming to the States, I'm going to take you down to my original home store down in Vancouver, Washington. I Like Comics. They have a fucking gigantic selection of 50-cent comics, of graded issues, of collector's items, key issues, variant covers, you name it, man. That store has everything.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I think that we should move on to Fear State Alpha.
Yes, that's.
So, first off, I didn't know that Federico was going to be on this.
Close enough.
Federici, sorry. I'm really enthused about how amazing the art was in this. This is the first time that I've seen these characters look actually like human.
The way he draws Scarecrow is great.
Oh, it's fantastic. His attention to detail is next level stuff. I love it.
And Peacekeeper 1, when he's like sort of stood on that rooftop, he looks like a badass motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. He looks very menacing. This is going to be a really good end to Tynion's run. I really want to just point out that same thing that I love about Batman comics is the use of Gotham's news system. I love that storytelling device.
Yeah, well, that's come from like Dark Knight Returns, hasn't it?
Well,
That was all intercut.
Frank Miller's been using it for years. I think he even did it with some of his Daredevil stuff, but
probably. But I feel like Dark Knight Returns is the one where people recognize it from.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was the big thing. I mean, he carried it on for years to come, even with his Brian Azzarello story. What did you think when you got to the end of this? Because by the time I got to the end of this, I keep thinking to myself, I don't really want this to end, honestly.
I don't know. I was worried about it ending, but now that I know Josh Williams taking over, I know it's in safe hands. It's
less about it being in safe hands and more about just the fact that I have been enjoying this run so much that he's such a good writer, and I really wish that he would at least just do this one superhero comic a month, because I've just loved it.
Yeah, but at the same time, his creator-owned stuff is amazing, and if we get more of that, then I can't wait. Like, his Nice House on the Lake is one of the best series I've read in a long, long time.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. It's unique.
Yeah, it feels fresh. It feels innovative.
Yeah.
Something's Killing the Children's great. We've got a spin-off of that coming soon.
Which I finally got the first trade.
Have you read it yet?
I have read halfway through. I'm going to finish it tonight.
How are you finding it?
I find it. I mean, I didn't really know what I was going to expect, but I've really been enjoying it.
It's self-explanatory. Something's killing the children.
Yes, that may be true, Sean, but I didn't know that it was going to be about this lady who like works for an organization that hunts down these things. That's awesome.
There's a spin-off starting next month that I've just subscribed to, dealing with the organization House of Slaughter.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's what the free comic book day one-shot was regarding.
You know what I have an issue with is as much as I enjoyed this Fear State Alpha issue, I don't feel like I have really much to say about it, and I don't know what that means.
Yeah, it was just a lot of setup for the main event, putting all the characters in place.
Yeah, I will say that I'm enjoying seeing finally what's going on with Poison Ivy, because I had no idea what was going on. Is that something that's happening in the Catwoman book that's being explained?
I think so.
Okay, you haven't read it in a minute, huh?
No, it's on my list and I'll get around to it at some point, but yeah, it's not something I've been reading yet.
It's kind of nice to see a lot of the other Batman books also get tied into everything here. I'm kind of confused about this Oracle thing, this being hacked. I didn't really
see the Joker.
I have no idea. Not that I'm aware of.
I assumed it was Scarecrow or Simon Saint.
I figured maybe it was Simon Saint, but at the same time, he's been betrayed by Scarecrow. So I guess I'm just wondering if he still has motivation to try to ruin the Bat family at that point. You're not remembering about the Scarecrow betrayal, huh? Last issue that happened.
No,
issue 0. That seemed to imply that the future had already been changed.
Yeah.
I was looking when the hacker thing takes over, just looking at the symbol there, it's like a red eye. And I'm just thinking Brother Eye. OMAC.
Oh. Okay. Maybe.
Because
is Mr. Terrific anywhere?
Nope. He's nowhere to be seen.
Not for now, at least. I like I said, I don't really have a whole lot else to say about this. It's not really a complaint. It's just a lot of setup, like you said.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like with setup issues, it makes me want to give it like a 3 out of 5 if I had to rate it. But I mean, we're not necessarily.
Are we just bringing back ratings for the show now?
Well, for this one
very
specific,
keen on the ratings this week.
This week I'm
not bringing back ratings.
It's fine.
What would you rate this?
That's just like how I'm feeling about it right now. I like rating the whole story arc rather than the actual issues themselves. But
yeah, well, I feel like this was sort of a bit of a catch up in case you haven't been reading Batman, but you want to jump on the events.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't read Wonder Girl #3, by the way.
Oh, that would have been a real fast read.
Yeah, not a lot really happened this issue.
The best way I can describe this is it's almost like you're on the teacup ride at Disneyland. So you're coming back and you're coming forth and you're spinning around. So it's like we're gonna spin over here to Greek mythology, and then we're gonna spin right back. And you're gonna almost be able to reach some South American mythology, and then we're gonna spin right over here again. We're just kind of spinning around and like cycling through the different mythologies.
Have they announced that Joelle Jones is going to be hopping off writer soon, or is it that she's going to just do writing and not do art?
Probably just going to do writing and not art.
We'd have to look at the solicitations.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing saying that in the issue.
I just feel like, as interesting as this character may be, I feel frustrated when something like this happens because DC and Marvel continue to keep introducing really cool, interesting characters and then kind of letting me down. And I don't know, I'm not really all that into it.
I wish there wasn't the side plot where they're bringing like every single Amazonian in to hunt her down or chase her. I wish there was more room for Yara Flor to be in the comic.
I wish this was a backup story and you had the main story drawn by Joelle Jones, and then you had like a 4 or 5 page backup story of them chasing after her, instead of it being intercut with a different artist.
Yeah. It is very different, yeah.
The whole Eros plot line feels weird because he just shows up, stabs an arrow in her to make her fall in love with him, and he's in love with her.
It's the quickest way to get her to follow him to Mount Olympus.
Yeah. And that was,
he's almost a fish out of water.
That's your problem with this issue, is it's dealing with Greek mythology again and not.
Yeah, well, we get all these different teases of different South American mythology, and they're like, hey, we've been waiting for you. And she's like, yeah, no, I'm going to go. It reminds me of Wonder Woman 770, that run right there, where she's in a new land, she meets a new guy, goes on the adventure, loses him, gonna get him back, whatever. It's like BioShock, where it's like there's always a lighthouse, there's always a girl, there's always a Wonder Woman, there's always some dude.
Yeah, it's just weird how she abandoned How in the forest.
Joelle.
Yes. Joelle. Like, yeah.
See, I feel bad about
she
this.
She just does like the I'm a head out kind of thing.
All right, I'm gonna head out.
Like, I'm sorry, I have no power here. I'll come back for you.
I feel like Wonder Woman and Wonder Girl right now are kind of suffering under the same issue.
Wonder Girl is definitely a stronger book.
Absolutely. I feel like
it's doing stuff with the supporting cast as well, which I appreciate. Bringing Cassie,
like, don't get me wrong, Wonder Woman at least
back in
is doing something that's kind of different from what we're accustomed to with Wonder Woman. That's cool. But at the same time, the way in which it's going is not in a way that is engaging enough for me to want to keep reading it. And that's why I fell off. And every time I go back online to read it,
there's like the 6-issue arc where she's in the Norse mythology. Now she's like trying to solve who's killed the Greek gods or something. And that just feels generic Wonder Woman.
Yeah. I agree.
So this is number 3. This is issue number 3 of the series.
Yeah.
And it's practically bi-monthly.
Yeah.
It releases like every 6 weeks.
It does feel like it's been a while. And that's because it has been.
I obviously didn't read it, so I don't have anything to say.
Yeah. I think I'm still going to get the next issue.
Okay.
Yeah, like I'm enjoying it.
Than Wonder Woman was, but Wonder Woman did drop off after like 3 or 4 issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I was really excited for the Ratatoskr squirrel god to interact with the Wonder Woman, but it just didn't get me enough anymore.
Yeah.
All right. Do we want to wrap up the show and do our shout outs?
I wanted to mention one thing.
Please do.
I'm seeing this advertisement for Stargirl at the back. And this just reminded me of a thing I had listened to the other week. I think it was an interview with Luke Wilson, who's in Stargirl.
Yeah.
Owen Wilson is in Loki, and they were filming both in Vancouver at the same time. So they were filming Loki and Stargirl at the same time. So Luke Wilson and Owen Wilson were both living like in the same house with Luke Wilson's family.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's heartwarming. You get to go move back in with your brother and, chill with his family, just have family time every day.
The Wilsons, the first family of cinema.
All right.
Very short.
Let's do shout outs. Let's have Sean do yours first, please.
So this week we've got one more book to discuss actually.
What's that?
The prologue issue of 3 Worlds, 3 Moons by Jonathan
yeah,
Hickman, Mike Huddleston, and
we can talk
Mike
about that. Yeah,
Delmondo.
sure.
Well, it's just a short, breezy issue. It's 8 pages.
Yeah, it's the setup to the actual storyline for whenever that comes out, coming only to Substack, and then later will be published through Dark Horse or Image. I can't remember where.
I don't think they've confirmed anything as of yet.
Yeah, so there we go. And they still haven't come out with the final issue for Decorum.
No, has it gone back while we've been talking?
Let's find out. Well, let's play the game of where is Decorum lately?
Yeah, nope. It does have
Till October 27th.
Yeah, it just every week it gets moved back a week. I like the credits here that they brought in different people to design the different systems. So Teenie Howard does one, Ram V does one, Al Ewing does one. Teenie Howard covers magic, Ram V covers money, and Al Ewing covers religion.
Mm-hmm.
Is it literally like, here's how the money is going to work in this comic, or?
I think they're the different worlds, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. I wish it didn't remind me of this, but it kind of makes me think of the Jason Aaron book that was coming out for a bit. I don't know if it's still going on. The Sea of Stars book with Dennis Hallam.
That's still happening. It takes breaks in between.
It's not the same thing, obviously, but it's got that, father-son vibe to it with a sort of sci-fi space setting. I will say this looks like a more linear story than what's going on with Decorum, and maybe that'll change.
Decorum gets pretty linear once you get past like issue 2.
Well, when I say linear, what I'm saying is like a lot of what Hickman does for his storylines are in fact linear. It's just that they're so esoteric, so strange that it almost makes you feel like you're on an acid trip or something. That's not to say that it's not going from point A to point B. It definitely is. I mean, we're not looking at like a David Lynch movie or something like that, but this definitely feels like a traditional. This feels more like East of West than Decorum to me.
Yeah, well, Hickman was kind enough to backload all of the graphics and all the information. You don't really need it until after you've read the first 8 pages.
Yeah, because it ties into the mission and where they got lost.
Do you guys actually read those?
Yeah, there's a lot of information. So you've got one page that deals with the timeline of the academy. You've got one that deals with a map of the route they took. And you've got one that's just the single mission that the dad went on.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, I read that part, but I guess a lot of the graphics pages, a lot of the time, are something that I have a hard time actually sitting down and paying attention to. Who would have thunk? A guy with ADHD? No way. But
yeah,
it's just not enough of an engagement most of the time. Like at least with X-Men, digging into a lot of what was going on with the history of these characters was really easy. East of West was really easy to get into those ones, just because you have to read those in order to understand the world realistically. And
I mean, they had the single one shot, which was called The World.
Yep. I don't know. I feel like I'm being critical about something that I'm not giving enough
Yeah.
credit to. But
Well, it might have more meaning later on.
Yeah.
You can kind of read between the lines of what you're seeing here.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, artistically, I'm excited for what's going to happen, much in the same way that I'm excited to see whatever happens with Geiger. You know, maybe it's going to feel clunky sometimes, but I'm excited for experiments with what you can do with a medium. So there's that.
Yeah. So this was the first 10 pages.
Yep.
And they've got some sort of a schedule, maybe, to be broken.
Which I want to take this time really quick to just say, as a shout out to Sean, he actually took the time to make his own intro page from this with the stuff that he was able to get in Photoshop. And I really do mean this when I say this. I was giving you a hard time in a rib, and I was like, follow your fucking dreams. You actually are very good at doing that. You are good at laying out pages.
Yeah. I totally believe this was the cover to the comic.
I did too. I was really surprised.
What can I say? I'm amazing.
I'm really not joking. I think that you should build a portfolio at some point because I think that would be a really cool job for you to have.
Maybe.
Yeah. And enough of me stroking the ego of Sean. Shall we do shoutouts?
Go ahead, guys.
Cool. Sean, go ahead.
Yes, I read Batman Superman this week by Jin Lun Yang. And this
You're
is
finally caught up?
really, yeah. Really, really fun story. Very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Introduced a really cool villain, and honestly, it's just a really enjoyable read.
Cool.
I
really happy to do
recommend
that.
you guys checking up.
This was
Sorry?
the conclusion to the series, right?
Yes, this was 16 to 21.
This
which
is
was-
another example of Jin Lun Yang having something that he made get shut down a little bit too fast.
well, the end ties into the Darkseid plot.
Oh, interesting. Okay, you've hooked me. You've hooked me.
That's actually
Cool.
Yeah, this could have just been a mini series instead of being a 16 to 21
Yeah.
because it didn't follow on the first 15.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Name only.
Yeah.
Any other shout outs for you, my friend?
I also started reading a series this week called Barbaric from Vault
Okay.
by Michael Moretti, and it's about a barbarian who has been cursed to only do good. So you can only kill bad guys now, basically.
That sounds
Oh, yeah. That was
comical.
the one with the sword gets drunk, right?
It's an axe.
Axe. Right.
Yeah, it's sentient. It gets absolutely shit-faced when it kills people.
Yeah.
Drunk on fire.
Yeah. It reminds me of a manga I read a long time ago called Chronicles of the Cursed Sword. So the guy
Okay.
gets attached to a sword that is sentient. Maybe it's like what's that? Southern Bastards? Is that it? Was that?
Yeah, that's the Jason Aaron story.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or,
I know what you're talking about.
The one from Crossover.
Yeah. Shit, I can't remember. I'm sorry. God Country.
God Country. Yeah. Kind of like God Country.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I saw Barbaric for a little bit, and I was actually reminded of a Valiant comic from a couple of years back. I think Donny Cates wrote on for a little bit. Can't remember what it's called. It's about a god. He's an immortal. He's a lot of the cover is him like having multiple arrows and like weapons inside of him. And I can't think of what it is at the moment, but that's what it reminded me of, like that Valiant style of weird kind of comic. But
Would that be almost a precursor to God Country?
No, because this was a series that was already established that Donny Cates had not created.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
It's
it's inspired similar to Power Rangers and Kyle Higgins doing Radiant Black.
Maybe. I can't remember the name of the series. All I know is that it's Name and Name. I'll come back to it.
Franklin
at
and
some point.
Bash.
Something like that. Josh, what did you read this week? What do you want to shout out?
I don't have any shout outs ready.
Okay.
I will mention that I did get God Slap.
Did you
in the
read it?
mail earlier today, but I haven't had a chance to read it.
Okay. We should
yeah,
clarify what that is.
So that's the YouTube channel is Penguin Zero, but I don't know.
His name is Moist Critical.
Yeah.
What's
So-
up, guys? It's Critical.
Yeah. So we could be the first ones to,
Do a review on
review
it.
this.
Yeah. Once I go get it in the mail, I mean, if it did show up, I'll read it with you and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, do a little quick thing.
Yeah. Did I tell you guys that he actually did a video about my friend?
No.
One of my classmates in VJ, visual journalism, was crossing the road with his corgi, and the guy didn't stop at the crosswalk and almost ran him over. So my friend flipped him off and started recording because he came back around and tried to start a fist fight with him. Consider that my friend, his name is Drew, he's a little shorter than me, and he's not like a big ripped dude. He's not like super skinny or anything like that, but he's definitely not like super fit or anything. And he's also a college student. And this was a grown, like 50-year-old man driving a truck. And when he finally called him out on it, he just kept recording him. Moist Critical found the video and talked about it. It was the funniest thing in the world. Yeah, I'll link it to you guys.
All right.
My shout outs are going to be Magic number 6 by Jed McKay, Carlo Magno and Guara, and Sinister War number 4. Before I go into my rant about Sinister War, I will say this. Magic is continuing to surprise me because I wasn't enthralled with the first issue, but I think that Jed McKay is really onto something here with this storyline, and I'm actually really pumped to see it. He's taking the planeswalkers, these people who have these magical abilities to traverse reality planes, and having them go up against a elder god, essentially, while still maintaining a lot of presence in a plane called Ravnica, which is a plane of wizards that have different orders that come together to keep the peace, basically. But they came into conflict because there's a elder dragon whose twin soul splitter is the good version of him, and this one is the bad one. His name's Nicol Bolas. Nicol Bolas started a war. I'm giving a little bit too much backstory. Anyways,
I'm vaguely familiar based on the cards that I've seen.
It's really cool. I really dig what's happening here, and this is my first time actually reading a Magic comic book. I didn't expect to like it. I've really been enjoying it. I'm actually really pumped to see what happens next. It doesn't follow what's going on with what the Wizards of the Coast is doing for all of the other card sets. You don't need to know anything else about Magic in order to enjoy it. I will say this: if you're a D&D player, they actually had a playbook that takes place on Ravnica. That's a really easy way to understand what the plot of that is.
Who's the creative team?
On this, it's Jed McKay, and the guest artist here is Carlo Magno with Guara doing art. I can't remember what Guara's first name is.
Okay.
Let's see really quick. It is Ig Guara. Nice and simple. Very strange. So this is my rant about Sinister War. This is characterized as the end of the Sinister War, but I know it's the penultimate issue for the 5-issue Sinister War arc. The majority of this series with Spider-Man has been Nick Spencer drawing out what should be point A to point B. And a lot of what this is could have been resolved 50 issues ago, realistically. I would have still enjoyed it if it wrapped up in 50 issues. I would have enjoyed it if it wrapped up in 25 issues. I don't think that this needs 75 issues of Spider-Man comics, plus 5 issues of this series, several one-shots, and maybe some 2 to 3 issue side story arcs. A lot of what this issue in specific suffered from is this, in a lot of the ways that it succeeded, as a lot of the same ways that it failed. This is a collection of all of Spider-Man's foes coming to battle against him because they're under the control of this centipede guy, whose name is Kindred, who we've discovered is Harry Osborn. And it seems to have something to do with the deal that was made with Mephisto back in Brand New Day. There's a lot of implications, but it keeps teasing you that things are going to go back to the way they were before that point, and then not delivering. And if that doesn't resolve by issue 75, I'm going to have more complaints than I ever did before. There's a lot about the rogues gallery for Spider-Man that you can appreciate, not just because they're an interesting, diverse cast, but also because they, in one way or another, have a different relationship with Spider-Man than each other one. It's not just as simple as bad guy punch good guy. And I feel like a lot of what this is bad guy punch good guy. And that's not really what I want from my Spider-Man comics. The saving grace in this was the relationship between him and Boomerang and him and Doc Ock, which was interesting. I'm also finding that the use of Doctor Strange, Mephisto, and Spider-Man in this coming out around the same time that the upcoming Spider-Man movie is coming out, probably intentional. So who knows what's going to happen with that. I'm not very happy with how things are being paced, and it's taking a really goddamn long time. So I'm really looking forward to the next creative team. And rant.
All right. When's the next creative team?
That will be with issue 876, and it will be a large collection of teams. It's going to include Kelly Thompson, I believe.
Oh, okay, that's the October stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So very soon. They have about 2 or 3 more issues of the main Amazing Spider-Man story arc before he gets killed. And I use air quotes there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say this really quick. With how things have been going with Boom and Image, I'm less inclined to get as many DC and Marvel books right now. So I'm definitely going to continue just only collecting those
Even as you guys
priority.
keep pushing me to get more DC and Marvel books.
There are so many good
4-issue series, Josh.
4-issue series, 8-issue series. Those are really easy to get into.
How long is Dark Ages supposed to be?
6, 7?
Okay.
Something like that. Mostly it's exciting because of Tom Taylor. But
I know.
Yeah. All right. And now we should talk about our picks of the week.
Sean, did you want to do Aquaman at all?
It's just a collection of short stories. Some of them are pretty good, some of them weren't.
Okay, never mind then.
Cool. All right, let's do our picks of the week.
Oh, I will say, however, I did like the Brandon Thomas one, which is leading into the next miniseries.
Absolutely. Brandon Thomas is a good writer.
Yeah.
Cool. Go right ahead, Sean. First you.
Oh, pressure. What did I like?
Under pressure.
Oh, it's got to be Many Deaths of Laila Starr.
Yeah, according to our ratings out of the week, that has to be it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna do the same, actually.
All 3 of us will do it.
Hell yeah. We can all
Yes.
We did it, guys. We all came to the same conclusion.
Yeah.
And if we hurry up and wrap up, we will have finished in less than 2 hours as well, which will be quite
Hell
an
yes. Well, then on that note, let's just call it good here. I'm gonna say thank you for
about what's coming out this week.
This coming week.
We've got Batman 112. We have Nice House on the Lake number 4, Infinite Frontier number 6.
Okay.
We
get Jeff Lemire's Maze book number 1.
Yeah, that's exciting. We have The Me You Love in the Dark number 2. Suicide Squad, Get Joker number 2. We have Blue and Gold number 2. Joker Puzzle Box number 2. A lot of number 2s.
Yeah. That's what you've been doing today, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Oh,
congratulations.
We've got 3. Ordinary Gods number 3, which I'm excited for.
Hell yeah. Hal Higgins.
Anything else?
A bit of a light week.
Oh, we've got Dead Box number 1, which is a Vault comic I'm going to be checking out by
Who's writing that?
Mark
It's
Russell.
not a light week.
Ooh, I'm going to get that. Yeah, I'll check it out. Thank you for letting me know.
I did post it in chat. No one replied.
I know. I didn't look at any of the Vault stuff because I didn't know much about Vault.
I don't know much about them either. They're just an independent publisher.
I didn't see it. I'm sorry.
Down probably.
Okay. Well, that's Cult of Comics. This has been the Cult of Comics podcast. This is our comic book club. And you can check us out on all of the podcast locations. We are now everywhere except for Stitcher and Earwolf. You can check out our YouTube page where we post all of our videos, although those are coming in a little slow. No judgment against Sean. He's kind of busy right now. You can check us out on anchor.fm. You can subscribe to our RSS feed there. You can also do your monthly contributions there, as well as patreon.com/Cult of Comics. I want to say thank you to our sponsors for anchor.fm for supporting us this entire time. We've actually been getting a lot more revenue because of the sponsorships with anchor.fm right now. Although we are looking for more sponsorships as of late, we are open for anybody out there who is looking to have a quick spot for us to talk about you on the show. you can check us out, support us, do all of these things by giving us a like, giving us a share, giving us a follow, but most importantly, giving us that dollar, because money makes mountains move. So thank you very much for checking us out, and talk about us to your friends, talk about us to your family. Anybody who's going to subscribe to our Patreon is going to be able to have access to our Discord chat server, where we will most likely be ripping into me, as seems to be the case for most of the Discord conversations.
Yep.
I don't know. It seems like you're trying to rip into us.
I'm honestly
Trying,
surprised
but failing.
you're not ripping into me more, honestly, at this point. I feel like you're saving the rippings for later. Or maybe you're just wholesome. Maybe you're just the nice guy here.
Maybe.
And maybe Sean's just a dick.
I am.
I know. Well, that's our show. Thank you very much for checking us out. You can find me on TikTok at Tyler Brown is here, where I make occasional videos about comic books. Sometimes I do political stuff. And I'm going to let you guys know in advance. Some big things have happened, are happening right now for me for school. I am trying to get a real job right now at an actual newspaper. So that will probably be taking away some of my time from the podcast here and there, just trying to make a career in the world. If this pans out, I will obviously let you guys know. But for now, we'll play it by ear.
Who?
Yep.
The Bellingham Herald.
Who?
Who what?
Who asked?
Oh, fuck you. This has been the Cult of Comics podcast. Thank you very much for checking us out. Stay safe out there. Get your vaccinations. Wear your mask outside. All hail and hence. Have an awesome rest of your night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.